Total fitness, active routine, depth by Kettlebell part 2. And part 1, we're combining a low intensity recovery exercise with a high intensity kettlebell exercise, switching over time. Okay, so it's nice and simple, quick changes, and does a bit of everything. Works all the muscle groups, gets the heart rate going, the lot. Perfect for Saturday morning. You'll need a kettlebell or two, ideally. Right, let's get warmed up. And then I'll go through the details. Okay, so show me the shoulders then. Chest stretch, stretch, seconds on a high intensity exercise. The high intensity one is the one with the kettlebell one. Okay. So our first one is a bit like a ring walk. During the rest between each, I'll tell you the next combination. We're doing 4 rounds, so 8 sets total. And on the exercises that are unilateral, like one side, you just swap sides in each round and you come on. Okay. Anyway, the first combination, we're just going to do split jacks, which are low intensity. Just keep moving, one foot in front of the other. Stay on your toes, keep it nice and light and dynamic. And then we're doing American swings. Be a first kettlebell exercise. American swing is, whereas your Russian swing is high level, we generally go a bit heavier for a Russian swing. American swing is you go in all the way up, like push it through over your head, okay? You're still going through the thigh triangle, okay? Don't squat your swings, okay? If your swing mistake is this, maybe that's not what you're doing. You're just through there, look, through the triangle. Okay, it's all in the hips. Right, that's it. Split jacks, American swing. Let's get that combination done. Yeah. We'll just keep moving on. Next one, next one, next one. There you go. Right, okay then. First one then, split jacks in 3, 2. Right, nice and steady, nice and light.
Is this real love, or is it pretend? Oh baby, is this real love?
10 seconds.
I can't pretend. Oh baby, let me know. Is this real love?
Right, ready? 3. Right, lateral leg roll and squat thrust to jaw grip cleans. Okay, so the lateral back roll, we haven't got a lot of room to do a big lateral back roll, obviously. At home you might have, so it doesn't matter how far you go. In here, we're just going to do a couple of steps. So your back roll position, just holding a back roll, this is hard for a lot of people. So for all fours, your knees just need to come up by about an inch or two, that's it. Okay? There's a tendency to come up too far. You need to really be there. And all you're doing is just going to take a step or two that way, step or two that way, while maintaining that knees close to ground position. Yes, and there, that's all we need. Couple of steps. Sideways, 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 maintaining that low position. Okay? Now your kettlebell exercise, when you squat thrust to squat cleans. Okay? So, like this. So you pick up point, it's between the heels this time, hands down, out, in, full catch squat. Okay? Can't get in that fluid, that's fine. Just do it a little bit slower. Pull and catch. And squat. Goblet squat. Remember you're sitting into that gap. Okay, knees need to go out. Right. Do it for the first time, just go light. Practice it. You'll be fine. Right, lateral back roll. Good, one. Right. Okay, ready there. 3, 2. Windmill practice, so that'll be a light one for that. Right, okay, so full jack burpee. 1, 2, 3, 4, drop, up. Okay, so you're just spacing them burpees out with those 4 jacks. Rotational thruster. Thrusters are horrible anyway. We're doing a nice deep squat. And then you're going to rotate off the same leg you pushed with on that same side. Rotate in to the side there. And then back. So you're coming up onto that toe. Okay? So it looks like this. There. There. Okay? 1 fluid movement. Okay? Swap sides each time with your kettlebell. Okay, this is combo 3. Right. So, full jack,
Cause you're sick of being low. Do you ever wanna bow? Do you ever wanna go? Take a look in my eyes. You can see in my soul. I'm in over my head. I'm in over my heart. Got a pocket of disease. So I'm on the bed. By the weed. Don't let it to the way. Driving the key. Back in the arms. But I don't need the key. Trying to win. Not for me. You don't want it to be. Cancel me. Scratch the
and then you've got kettlebell on slingshot squat. Right, imagine this hand is like a shelf. Okay, this is my rotational side, so I'm going to do a little quarter squat rotation, just a 3-dimensional movement. Bring it up to there, and there it sits up. And I'm going to drop into that squat nice and deep, back down. There, squat, okay? Slingshot squat, when you drop again, you do it to the side. Okay? This is where I get someone 15-year-old from Minnesota telling me I'm going to put my back out or something like that. Trust me, I've been doing this since I'm about 9. Right, I'm nearly 50. I was going to put my back out, it would have already happened. Doing this will prevent that as long as you do it within your limits. Okay? If you overextend your limits, then yeah, you want to put your back out. But getting these movements correct with a weight you can handle will protect your back for life. Take it from me. Right. Ready then? finish the challenge. So this time, low intensity. This is what we're making. Dead squat, bunny hops. Come with the dead squat, just get yourself up. Okay, ideal world. There. Little hop left, back to centre. Hop right, back to centre. You have to use your arms, that's fine. There, just get up. Down. Get up. Use your hands. Yes. It might look a bit untidy and a bit rough around the edge, but it doesn't matter. Because it'll even up. It'll smooth out. The stronger and more mobile your hips get, the easier it'll become. Right, your kettlebell exercise. We're going to do a single arm, low row, high row. So, your two variations of rows. The underhand low row that will really hit this lower portion of the abs. Then when you're returning, you're going to twist, and then pull to chest. To get the upper back of the shoulders, contract that area. So every breath, switch. Underhand to waist, overhand chest. Waist, chest. Okay, so you're just throwing the emphasis on those two each areas, okay? And swap sides each round, of course. Right, come on, let's do it. Last combo. And then we've got a little finisher. Here we go. Throw back the sweat. Right, you ready? lightest one though. So, what we've done there, we've done a nice even balance. You've done lots of pressing, lots of pulling, lots of standing, rotation. It's all in there. I'm just going to focus on clean. Now, the finishing challenge. It's a slow paced finishing challenge. This certainly shouldn't be rushed, particularly if you do windmills. Because we're going to do windmills, obviously. I want it to go as heavy though as you can manage. We're going to do 6 reps each minute. So do 6 windmills. Now a windmill, think of the exercise like a hip hinge is called the good morning. So that's what people leave out the windmill. What they tend to see is just this lateral flexion of the spine. It isn't that. Well, it is that, together with that hip hinge. So this is how to perfect your windmill. Start at the bottom. If you've never done it before, this is the movement you do it. Okay, so you can slightly bend the knees, touch your toes on one side. Okay? The side that you're touching, you can bend that one a bit more. Now, if I'm touching my left, yeah? So I keep my left hand on, and I take this arm up here. Okay? That's the bottom of the windmill. Okay? And all you need to do is reverse it. And that's the top. That's the bottom. That's the top. So you're touching your toes, but you're combining it with that bit of the lateral flexion as well. So it's very, very three-dimensional. If you're new to it, start light, next to nothing, and build it up. Same with the right hook. Okay, there. That's what you do it. Look, now look what happens to my hand. It's there on the top. As I go down, I'm pushing it almost behind me. To keep gravity on my side. I don't want gravity against me. It's going to be more exhausting. It's going to pull you down. Which is why, if you've got tight shoulders, you'll find windmills harder. And hips. It's all about mobility, really. So I always say, windmills, you'll hate them or you can't do them, you'll love them. It's that simple. Anyway, so when I do 6, let me show you with the weight. Obviously, you're going to start at that top point. Okay, slightly bent. I'm going to go to the floor, you don't have to. Okay, slowly back up, 6 reps. When I've done 6, I'm then going to go to ground and hold a side plank for the remainder of the time. I lift my hips and squeeze the obliques again. Then same with the left, right, left. Just 4 minutes. It's only short and slow pace. Take your time. Okay? Good windmill practice. Side plank, by the way, it's too hard to do it like that. Just do it on your knees. Okay? As long as you're squeezing those oblique muscles, then the muscles that lie between your hip and your rib cage. Okay? And it's there's not many exercises that really target them completely. You've got 2 of the best here. Okay, so 4 minutes. Yeah, just follow me. Six windmills, then it's a side plank. enjoyed that at the end. Took the lower end of that one. Sorry to everyone else said it was quite easy at the start. I'll take that back. Well done, Kathy. Well done, everyone else at home. Yeah, good job. Right. Back Monday then with Hurricane Kathy. So that's a shot list. Always very popular. Just stop your kettlebells again for that one. Have a great weekend. See you Monday.